Good evening. Welcome to the February 15th, 2022 Clark County Fire District 6 Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to call this evening's meeting to order. I'd also like to notify citizens wishing to participate in this evening's meeting that access to tonight's meeting is accessible through the Clark County Fire District 6 YouTube channel and not the link on the Clark County Fire District 6 website that's usually available. We'll call the regular meeting to order and ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And one additional note, citizens wishing to communicate this evening with the board can use the YouTube link, and that site provides a platform for you to communicate directly with the board, and it will be monitored throughout this evening's meeting. Are there any additions to the agenda this evening?
Not here.
No. We need to read and approve our minutes of the February 1st, 2022 board meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and second?
Sure. And post as necessary.
And posted as necessary. Perfect. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Correspondence. I saw one item of correspondence here this evening in the board packet. It's a thank you from the Vancouver Police Department for the assistance the district provided during the most recent officer memorial service. Is there any other correspondence?
No.
Okay. Citizen communication? None yet. Okay. Committee reports?
No report from Health and Safety. We should have one for you by next meeting.
Okay. And I understand there's no report from the risk management group. That meeting was it held this month?
Correct, Mr. Chair. Our next meeting is April 6th.
April 6th. Fairgrounds Fire Facility Board, Commissioner Losbeck.
I believe we meet next week on the 9th.
All right, March 9th. All right. And moving on to the consent agenda.
Move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved to second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chief's report, if you'd like to just run through all those items, Chief.
So for January, total overtime was $149,077.39. The majority of that, at about $104,000, was in shift replacement overtime. We did still have some injuries and absences in January, and we have some current vacancies. So everybody's back online, and we're healthy now, so we anticipate that to go down. The budget performance report. For January, we should be at anticipated expenditures of 8%. For fire, we're at 12.2, and for EMS, we're at 13.4. The reason we're always higher in January is because we pay 2 months of insurance premiums at the beginning of the year, so those always run higher than we anticipate.
Okay.
And the COVID-19 update is in your report. We have, we're still trending, actually we're trending a little bit down, dropping by about 32%. So we're trending down, that's good.
That is good.
And there is the COVID report in there for you if you would like as well.
Thank you.
Facilities report is in your packet. I'll be going over that with you tonight. Station 6-1, we continue to move through the process. The architects and Chief Newberry are meeting bi-weekly and discussing the projects as they go through them. Last week, they went over all the interior finishes, and they're staying pretty much on track to what we did in 2 and 3 with some modifications for items that are no longer available. They are looking at some IT stuff for 61 that we didn't do in 63. They'll either price that in with the original contract, or we'll do that separate with a different vendor, or outside the contract. 62 still has supply chain issues with the lights, so Chief Newberry's constantly working on that to try to get that squared away. And then Station 6-3, our training storage building project. Right now we have a time and materials proposal that we're gonna present to you tonight from McKinsey. Staff did meet with the county last week with Commissioner Losbeck to discuss some of the redundancies they were having us do from the original Station 63 project to this current one. And they guided us to where we could minimize some of those expenses. McKinsey's bid for time and materials is a wide span. It's $34,000 to $60,000-ish, and I know that's a wide span. I asked them to narrow it down, but the $30,000, you'll see a narrative under their estimate, is if the district were to do the majority of the work as far as permitting and working with the county. The higher end is if McKinsey has to do that work. So Chief Newberry is meeting with the county to figure out that process so that we can keep it towards that $34,000 range. That agreement that's included in your packet is number 8A. It is above the chief's threshold, so if we chose to contract with McKinsey to do the slab and the permitting that we need for the 63 storage building, that would need to be approved by the board. And if there's any more specific questions, I could have Chief Newberry answer those for the board.
Well, we got 97,000, 64,250.
That's the estimated cost for the building that we've already purchased,
And
correct?
where's their estimated cost?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The PEMB for 97,000.
Yeah, that's, well, the total price, that's not McKinsey's cost, that's the cost of the
Right,
materials.
I just think that Chief Newberry could probably handle Clark's Regional Wastewater, the fire marshal, the permitting process. I think there's probably quite a few things that you could handle. I'm a little concerned that the upper price is so high, but after talking with the county, I think that that's gonna get reduced anyway. 38's still a lot, but I know we have to do the site work and the grading and all that stuff, and all the technical stuff that needs to be done, but I just wanna be really careful on what we pay them for.
We did ask McKinsey to narrow down this range. Like you said, I am confident that there's many steps of this process that Chief Newberry can handle, and the county seemed to think that it was very doable on our end. They had to give us a worst case scenario on if we couldn't handle all those steps, which is the 64,000. So we anticipate it'll be anything less than that. But we do have a history of working with McKinsey, and a relationship has been built with them where we don't have an issue really diving into their estimates and figuring out what they're exactly charging us for. And so as we do that process, we find efficiencies where we can save the district money, and we take advantage of
Thank
those.
you. I'll make a motion that we authorize the chief to sign this agreement with McKinsey.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see. That's it for the chief's report. Old business.
So in your packet is the schedule for a calendar if we were to go for a renewal of our EMS levy. Staff is just starting the preliminary stages of anticipating what we need those costs for and how to best utilize them for the district and the EMS service that we provide to our citizens. So that calendar just starts the preliminary outline of that project if we were to move forward.
So is the primary on August 2nd?
Yes.
Yeah.
So ballots get mailed out the middle of July.
Yeah, it looks about
July.
like the 15th.
So there's not a lot of time, okay. Go get them. Let us know if you need any help with anything for the, willing to
Yeah.
help. It's really important that we do this. It's a big year.
All right. Any other questions about the levy timeline? Okay. Personnel hiring.
So with the strategic plan, the board approved that 3-year plan, and in there, we asked to hire 4 additional positions in 2023 to staff a truck unit. We came back and said if we were to staff 151 and that was the direction the board wanted to go, we would need to move up that hiring to this year. We don't anticipate doing any staffing at Station 151, however, we do know that there's a big hiring surge within the fire service in general. Vancouver's looking at hiring 60 to 80, Portland's hiring a bunch. And we have the opportunity with our budget to move up those 4 hires to this year. So right now the district's carrying 3 vacancies, and one of those we have an anticipated vacancy in the following year, or this year. And then we'd like to add 4 additional positions for a total academy of 8. And I just wanted to make sure that the board was okay with that number before we move forward. But it's all budgeted. We've moved some captain medics out of EMS into fire, and the budget sustains that hiring.
I think it's a great thing. My concern is if the left 2 bill is out of the Senate and into the House, right? The left 2 bill is gonna pass. And so we could have several people, like the city of Seattle is worried about. On top of the 8, on top of the 4, we could have several more. So with those 4, we can fill those, and if we have to do some more, next year we can. I wouldn't say, do 10 or whatever, but I would certainly support 8. I think it's a good move. And according to Chief Schmidt, we have over 100 candidates, 100 and some candidates. So we should have some really good ones.
I think it got narrowed down to about 60, if I'm right.
Yeah, they lost a bunch, just people didn't turn in required.
Couldn't follow directions.
They lost 3 medics.
They're probably medics.
Yeah, probably.
No, I think it's, I don't really think we need to do a motion. I don't know how the other board members feel, but I think it's a good positive step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do, and I think you're wise to get ahead of the hiring curve, and so we can grab the best candidates before others do. So, yeah, I fully support it.
Yeah, I would agree as well. So, thank you.
And so we'll actually have an academy of like 8. Well, we might have some laterals, so we might not be 8. But.
It's a combination of laterals and entry level. We can't carry any more than 4 laterals though.
And if we have an academy, would we open that up to other departments that want to participate? Are we to that point yet, or would it just be internal?
I'd probably run that by the training division, see what they could handle, but yeah, I know there are a couple departments hiring. Vancouver's a little bit behind us, I think, for academy wise, but.
Thank you.
Alrighty, moving on to new business, 2022 budget adjustments.
So between the preliminary budget and the final budget, there were just a few minor changes where we anticipated increased expenditures. Most of those had to do with once the contract was settled and also the hiring of personnel. So you'll see in your board packet the changes that we made from 2021 to 2022. Like I said, it's mostly increase in salaries, insurance, and benefits. We did increase professional services and prevention by just $100, but and then other than that, the intergovernmental, we're transferring over 1.2 for anticipation of a truck purchase in 2023.
Great.
Yeah, I reviewed the document. I guess more of a new guy comment or question. So on the fire budget and on page 1 there, the 2021 budgeted revenue is the exact same dollar amount as the 2021 actual revenue. And I've never seen where budget and actual are the same. Is that normal? Is that because we do it backwards, where we finish the year and then we go back and do it, or how does that?
They're not always the same, but it's not abnormal to have them be the same.
Okay.
And Secretary Taylor, do you know exactly why those were the same that year?
Okay, let me see if I'm following him. So
On page 1, 2021 budget revenue is 8,904,395.33, and the actual is exactly the same number.
well, that line, the 89904, that's the carryover from the prior year.
Right.
Okay.
Property tax revenue, you'll see just below that, has changed from 15,400,000
Yep.
or 400 million last year to 15,800 this year.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-01, final fire suppression budget.
I will second that.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And I would also make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-02 EMS, final EMS budget.
And I would second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. County impact fees, number.
This is more just information for the board. So the county chiefs together have been working on assessing impact fees within Clark County. There's only one other county in the state that is currently in this process. However, our districts all feel like we're growing at such a rapid rate that we should collect some of those impact fees. So the agencies working together are actually contracting with Liz Loomis, and we haven't drawn up that contract yet. That's why the board hasn't seen it. But she is technically contracted with District 3 right now as an employee, and so we will add on to that and have to share those fees between the districts that decide to
And what is she
go
gonna
for those
do for
impact
us?
fees. What's up?
What is she gonna do for us?
She is gonna help us with the media release and that kind of stuff for the impact fees, and also the discussions to have with county council. But not as intensive as we've had her with levies.
I think would be a nice thing to happen. It's gonna be extremely difficult with the current counselors because the BIA is gonna go nuts.
Mhm.
And one more impact fee. And how much would it be, you know? What was the estimate?
We don't know yet. We're all drawing up our capital facilities plans, and then once those are drawn up, we can assess.
Because I think the schools are getting $3 or $4 grand on a single family.
Ours are nowhere near that.
No, we don't get
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're not asking for anything like that. I wanna
I-
say it's the 500-600 range.
Yeah, that seems like the amount that's used in Battleground with
Yeah.
the District 3's services there. Okay.
Well, that's where the city of Battleground.
City of Battleground is,
Woodlands considered.
Providing impact fees
They are.
to Fire District 3.
Hey, good luck.
So the departments that are participating in that right now are us, CCFR, District 3, and District 5.
Thank you.
Does the city of Vancouver do anything on their own?
Well, they wouldn't, so the city gets impact fees, they wouldn't get them through the county.
Right.
So we'll go before the county council. District 5, who
Mhm.
contracts with the city.
But do you know,
They
I guess,
go for that.
does the city already do it through the city? Do they get impact fees, or they?
Oh,
Not
for
anymore?
fire?
Yeah,
I'm not sure about Vancouver, I believe they do, but Camas does,
okay,
and Battleground
That's
is.
other Battleground,
So,
okay.
yeah.
thanks.
It's not uncommon for cities, it's uncommon for
For the
unincorporated
county.
counties.
You said one other fire district in the state is doing this or has done it?
Yeah, up in the Pierce area.
Okay.
Like Central Pierce?
It's not Central
That's not
Pierce.
Central Pierce.
No.
Okay.
Isn't it East Pierce Pharmacy?
I don't know, I gotta look it up again,
Okay.
sorry.
It's not that great.
Alrighty. Automatic aid response agreement with Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue.
So Chief Nor and I have been working with Brian Snur. We drafted an automatic aid agreement and both have signed that. Chief Russell has set up the zones within that area so that the tenders are dispatched on those calls. The next step is they will be dispatched on the calls, but we still have to have WSRB come out and rate that water tender. So Chief Russell's working with Chief Peeler to get that scheduled. Once that's scheduled, we'll start a media campaign with our citizens to let them know that they can be reassessed by their insurance agencies.
Great. Do you have a timeline for the,
For the testing?
yeah?
I'm meeting with Ben tomorrow
Okay.
to kind of line that out, so hopefully by tomorrow we'll have a date.
Perfect.
Chief, at one point, we were talking about purchasing a tender.
Seeing what?
At one point, we were talking about purchasing a tender.
Mhm.
Is that still a possibility?
So with that, kind of tied back into the impact fees, Chief Newberry and I have to do the capital facilities, which would include apparatus, and that's where we would look at and evaluate if we want to do that. I think it's affordable and helpful, so.
I have one question about compensation, and I probably just because I don't understand it. You know, no additional compensation will be provided. However, that Clark County Fire District 6 shall attempt to obtain financial assistance from federal and state agencies where financial assistance is available to reimburse CCF&R for loss or damages incurred in supplying automatic aid under this agreement. I don't understand, would we attempt to obtain federal or state money if they respond into our district? I don't understand that.
No, we wouldn't. The only time that that would come into play is the certain DNR contracted areas in our district. That could come into play where we would get reimbursed.
By DNR, and then
Yeah.
we would,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
but not just for general use.
That makes sense. Well, you've already signed it. So, we're good to go, right?
You don't need anything from us, right?
I just wanted to show you a signed version. If you guys were good with it.
Because we told you to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, all right.
It's nice to see it.
That's
That
good.
I'm sure did his,
Yeah, SNR actually drafted it all and then we just did a few edits.
Great. Thank you. Executive session, I didn't see any executive session items. Roundtable, go to the order.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
we're gonna have a parade,
We are gonna have a prayer.
and we're gonna have a fair.
Okay, perfect. That's all exciting news.
People are ready to get out and do stuff.
How about an open house?
That's up to staff.
Okay.
We'll see what the governor says by the end of March.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's short time to throw it together, but.
Great. Okay. Chief Newberry, any questions this evening?
No, sir.
All righty, thank you. And with that, we'll need to authorize February issuance of payroll warrants, authorize February payroll direct deposits, treasurer's check, authorize February deposit of federal and FICA medical withholding, treasurer's check, authorize free authorization invoice transmittal, and authorize payment of current bills.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
And we need to convene the local board.
Yes.